Hey, welcome back to another Black City coffee vlog. In this coffee break episode, the course that I was supposed to take this Thursday, I think, it got canceled due to whatever reason that Mill City Roasters needed to, make or whatever. I just know that in business, sometimes, like we have just been dealing with over the last 2 weeks, something quote unquote bad happens, kind of wrecks your plans, and now you have to readjust and scramble and fix stuff. And you go to your priorities and you just start making cuts. You start making cuts, you start making decisions that will make sure that the main products of your business or your company is maintained, so that you have service to deliver, you have a product to deliver, and little ancillary things like maybe doing classes or marketing or things like that, like things on the outside of your business. You got to take care of your core business. So I totally understand whatever the reason may be, but they're a business and they needed to make that decision. They graciously allowed us to keep our class boxes, still providing full refunds, so that's really cool of them. And what I wanted to do, and I asked them, I said, hey, can I just take a stab at it? Because we were supposed to learn how to roast light, medium, and dark. And like I said in my last video on the unboxing of this thing, I was like, well, it's not like I don't know how to do that, but maybe I'll find out. I was gonna take the class and find out, but like, oh yeah, I really don't know how to do that. So what I'm gonna do with this and the content that I want to make from this, and of course be educational and just do a documentation and share my knowledge and share my findings, basically, because I would have never bought this type of coffee on my own. Honestly, I don't think in the foreseeable year, at least, I don't think I would ever buy a Java coffee. So with the coffee being from Indonesia, I'm expecting something. Definitely wanting it, or not wanting, but definitely expecting it to be earthier in tone, not bright, not acidic, even though that's what they say on the bag. So this will be cool. And that's what we're going to do in this video, is just make a plan on how it would roast this brand new coffee that I wouldn't even think of buying, compare it to the coffees that I already have, roast it, not in this video, maybe the next video, make a plan, roast it, and then cup it, of course, and we have samples to cup. And I'm going to do my version of light, medium, and dark, and kind of doing it blindly without instruction. We'll cup ours, light, medium, dark as well, and then just come back and reassess and document the whole thing and have fun with it, okay? I hope you'll follow me along for this little experimentation, this series, this unforeseeable event that I thought I was going to be documenting their teachings and going through that. So now it'll just turn into doing it anyway and documenting what I come up with. We'll see. I don't know. Let's make some coffee first. Of course, it's coffee break time, and get into how I would approach this new green. All right. It's my favorite way to brew, and yet I don't capture it on camera enough. As I approach this new bean, let's go ahead and look up the stats for it, okay? But yeah, I just hope everything's all right over there, that it's not something bad or whatever. It didn't make, Lauren emailed me, called me, it didn't seem like anything too crazy. But who knows? In business, when something bad happens, you definitely don't want to give away a face that seems weakened or vulnerable or anything like that. And I definitely get that, I feel like as a wedding photography company, we, like in our other business, like we always go through that. And that's why I was saying in the last video, I was like, I need a pick me up. I was like, we've had such a rough couple of weeks of like coming back from COVID, all that stuff. So I was so stoked for it, dude. Like in the last video, right? Just freaking stoked. And I was working, and then I get a call, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what they're gonna. I saw from Minneapolis, Minnesota on my caller ID, and I was like, oh, is that Mill City? And then I didn't pick up because I was working, and then left me that message. I was like, dang. So I'm on Mill City Roasters site right now. They gave us Java. It's called West Java Frinsa Collective Washed. Definitely more information we'll find here than here on this label, so let's read it out. They gave really nuanced and really detailed cupping notes for fragrance and aroma, meaning dry and wet aroma, and then or smell. The acidity, and they're saying crisp, bright, citric, touch of malic. I don't know what that is, so we'll look that up. Contributes to the sour taste of fruits. All right, got it. It's like a citrus. Touch of malic, so a touch of it, not extremely sour. Flavor, orange marmalade, vanilla, brown rice syrup, black tea, candied almond, milk chocolate. Okay. All right. Mostly on the sweet side, right? Orange marmalade. So orange marmalade, the last time I had that, it was a very subtle. You get an orange hint, but it's not extremely orange. It's not bright like a lemon marmalade. I think a lemon marmalade is much brighter, and I think would be much more outstanding in your mouth. Sweetness, heavy, simple syrup, okay. Body, full, big, coating. Wow. Yeah, definitely. This is gonna be super interesting. Finish and aftertaste, candied almond, red currant, jelly, orange jelly, sweet spice vanilla, fresh butter, and lemongrass. Lemongrass, huh? That's a really strong note, I would say, for finish aftertaste. So if you ever had like any Vietnamese food, which I have all the time because of my husband, lemongrass is a really bright, unique note. That's cool. Awesome. Okay, altitude. This is the information I want to know. So it's like 1400 to 1700 meters above sea level. Process method is washed. Okay, that's cool. That's good, because a lot of the Indonesian coffees that I would always see or read about is wet hulled. And wet hulled coffees, they have a earthier, just a more in the ground, dirtier. I don't say dirty as bad, but just a dirtier cup vibe. Like you want something very earthy, very herbaceous, you know. And then the Roast Path ID. Awesome. So I use Roast Path, obviously. So with Mill City, if you get a green from them, they have a Roast Path ID. You just enter in that when you enter in a new green in the Roast Path. And I'll do that right now. That way, when you're ready to go roast, it's all the stuff is there for you. So we'll do that. So that we'll enter this in Roast Path. I just woke up from a nap. I have to take daily naps because it's as I recover from the surgery and everything, like I get really tired. I work from like, depending on time when I wake up, whenever I wake up, I start working, and then I'll work up until about lunchtime, have lunch, chill out for a little bit, and then I'll get really tired. I'll need to recover. And that nap in the middle of the day is really helping me get better faster. And as you can see, like I have like a lot better head movement and all that stuff. So I always try to get a nap in every day to help me recover. And I'm drinking decaf. The new decaf we're supposed to get in very soon. It's almost June. I'm so excited. Okay, add a new green. So I'll go back to the site, copy the Roast Path ID, because otherwise I'd have to do it manually, which I typically always do. So we'll call this a sample, because you can select the status active or sample. We'll call it a sample. Everything's in there. Cool. So Lauren also gave me some notes. So the light profile was charged at 360. The medium profile was charged at 350. And the dark profile was charged at 380. So the fact that they're all different charges for different profiles, that was super interesting to me. And is that because it was that particular Brazil? I kind of like that I don't have all the questions and I get to work backward. I kind of like that puzzle mystery. I love that in games as well. I'm like always just like, you did this, so let me figure out why. Because it kind of tests my knowledge, which I love. Okay, so the Brazil that they carry is a Brazil Natural like mine, which is probably some low elevation coffee. And I've been going back and forth on whether or not to really take Lauren's notes into account and then make a plan. And the reason why is because I'm like, well, I have a total not total, but yeah, I have a different situation, a different machine, and my results will be different anyway. So shouldn't I come into it with the knowledge that I have? Yes, I can look at your charges and that will give me a very clear idea where to go, because I was already thinking just with the size of these and the fact that we had a washed coffee, the size of the green bean, I was thinking these are kind of like on the bigger side, I would say. They remind me of like the Vietnam, and so I was thinking 380 charge already before even looking at these notes. But the fact that she changed from 360 for a light roast, 350 to a medium roast, and then 380 for a dark roast, that just kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit. Almost like, well, wouldn't 350 be more attuned to the light? Similar but different. That's why I was like, should I take this into account, or should I just take a stab at it how I would roast this new green? And okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna make the decision right now. So I'm gonna roast this to how I think I would roast it. And then what I want to do, that because that's why I was taking the course. I was like, this is what I'm doing now. Show me what I'm doing wrong, or whatever, where I'm lacking, so that I could be, better. And after we cup it, of course, after we cup it, if I feel like I'm not hitting these flavor notes, or my data doesn't look right, or whatever it may be, after I roast it and cup it, then let me come back in here and let me like try to, here, like, look, you missed this. Like I'll do that with these notes later. But trying to bring this in now without any guidance, I don't think is very smart, because then I feel like I might waste it. Whereas if I come in here with my own direction, with my own knowledge, which I know is flawed already, cool, whatever, but at least I'm coming in with a better plan and not feeling unconfident when I'm at the roaster. I don't want to feel unconfident. So I know that this is there, and that's kind of like my guide after the fact. But yeah, I'm just gonna roast this as I would a new green, go through the motions and do light, medium, dark. It's not high elevation, it's almost peaking there, but it's not low elevation, so that's why I would be picking the charge temp of 380 for sure. So let's start there. I have my charge temp, and we've got to do a light, medium, and dark profile. She recommended, which I didn't know this is kind of cool. She recommended start with medium, and I was like, I think that's good advice to take into to this experiment. So that way you can go, okay, this is my medium, I'm gonna go under, that's my light, I'm gonna go over, that's my dark. So medium. I feel like if I don't do 380 for the charge, I'm not gonna get up enough. 1 minute soak. 3 minutes 30 on my mid phase. Now she's in my mind. Now she's in my mind, in my head. I would feel more comfortable like looking at the notes and going back and forth with some, an instructor, like somebody to mentor me through it. Like, this is why I choose this, With how big these are, it's looking like a 5 minute dry in for sure. And then ride my mid phase out and hopefully hit first crack at around 8:30. And before I hit first crack, I'm going to increase my air to high, but not max high. When I start hearing the outliers. For development, I want 3 minutes or 25%. So that's my medium plan on this Java. It's wash, so it should behave. It should behave as a wash should. But I don't know. We'll see. The size reminds me of the Vietnam that I have, which is in that area, So that's cool. I expect it to behave like that. Okay, so there's my medium. So light. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep that charge. I really don't feel why I should lower it, because it's such a large bean. I don't feel why. I feel like I need that energy, So the only difference for me on my light profile in the development is to just develop at 20% at the end. And then my dark, now here's the dark, I think is a fair, they increased there from 350 to whatever, because you need more power to kind of like see it through to dark, I guess, because you don't want to bake the coffee. Yeah, you can just keep the same charge, right? And then as you're developing the coffee for a dark profile, if you don't have enough energy, you're just going to end up baking it. So if you wanted to have a complex and very like still nuanced dark roast, if you didn't have enough energy, you would end up baking it, just keeping it in there longer, right? Which isn't exactly making a very good dark roast. So with that being said, I don't want to go to like, I feel like 400 would be too fast, be too high. Let's just try, since I know that they moved their charge around by 10 degrees, I'm gonna try 390. Because if you can move your charge around by 10 degrees, then so can I. And I think that will give me an extra bump. And I would still relatively want to hit the same like dry end marker. That would be cool. Keep it within 5 minutes. Keep my mid phase to like 3 minutes at least. And then finish strong with maybe 4 minutes. So my finish is going to be around 30 to 35% finish, depending on what I'm seeing in the roaster. Now here's where I think it'll be a little tricky. Like when I do my dark roast, I'm more attuned to the color and the temperature at the same time, and the finishing time. I guess I'm more attuned to everything, but I really pay attention more to color and what it's doing there in the sight glass, because I don't want it to go overboard. Like I don't want too much oils present on the outside of the bean. So I feel like I'm a little bit more, since I'm skirting that in when I start roasting dark, it's like I'm skirting that area of over roasting for me in my preference, because we roast dark here but not very often, and I still want a lot of nuance left as much as I can, you know, in the dark roast. So I'll be paying more attention to the dark profile in terms of like what's in the sight glass and like checking the trier versus say the light. I'm like looking at temperature and time and how long it's been in there and does it look all right, and then I just drop it. I'm not too attuned to checking the color, even though I probably should for everything. But I'm just telling you what I've been doing. So, okay, that's my plan, all right? So I'm not changing the charge temperature for the light or the medium. I'm going to stay at 380. I feel like it's good. I could be wrong, and I'm okay with that. And dark, I'm going to bump it up to 390. And between each roast, I want to do just like a 5 minute, you know, in between batch protocol where I'm still keeping the roaster quite warm. And to give myself the best method of success, I'll do these like not right out of the gate. I'll be into my roasting day, so the roaster will be warmed up, you know. It won't be having any weird temperature stuff, hopefully, at that time. But yeah, we're gonna go through the whole thing. I'm gonna document everything. Please like this video if you did. Subscribe for more content like this, because I'm roasting next time. But I think it's important to plan well, to have a why and a reason for your plan, because why? We honor the cup. We honor the cup, so we take the time to give this coffee that I would have never bought, but still respect, right? Still show respect to this coffee that I would never buy, and do our dang best as we roast this coffee. Yeah, so good things. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.